Hello, my fellow human light beings. Welcome back to the Thunder Wizard YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a live interdimensional meditation at the end of, or towards the end of this video. But before we do that, I want to get you primed for how powerful these meditations are. And we're going to be talking about what I've discovered in the astral realms about how God becomes human and humans become God. You've got to see that little map there, which I'm going to go into some greater detail having to do with dimensions and all that kind of fun stuff. And so let's just get started with that. So here's what's going to happen with human beings as they shift to 5D. The 5D shift will have within it the awareness that our three-dimensional reality was at best a play. It was a fictional play. We were playing characters. When you shift up towards 5D, you become aware that you have been playing a fictional character in a script. So you can call it a matrix if you want, but a matrix implies that you have been forcibly put into an illusion. That's absolutely what it feels like, but only if you don't remember that you were the one who put on the character's costume and began playing that part. So it's as though, and I've said this before, you've heard me say this before, but I was a professional actor. I was a film actor, stage, TV. I'm sure you don't remember me. I didn't make any big stink anywhere, but that was my profession for a while. And I was a method actor. It was an amazing introduction into shamanism because, you know, once I realized that if I believed what I was saying, the audience was going to believe it. And so I would literally go with the script. This is what good actors do. They take a script and they ask a bunch of questions. Why did he say this? Why did he do that? Where did he come from? What did he really want? What is his unconscious motive? What is his foibles? What are his strengths? You ask all those questions, and then you literally create an unconscious for that person. And you can flip it on and flip it off whenever you want. And so I was able to do this. Now, when you get into the character, it's a very pleasurable experience because you become emotionally awakened to that reality, but it doesn't have any permanent effect on you. So you can play a death scene where, you know, your spouse died or something, and you will be in tears, you will be deeply saddened, but the moment that the director says cut, or the moment that the curtains come down, you wipe your tears, you're back to yourself. It doesn't have any effect on you. You're able to put it on and believe it. The difference between a good actor and a bad actor points at things, doesn't believe what they're saying. A good actor believes what they're saying. They become the character. So it's really no different than that. Once you become aware that you've been playing a character this whole time, you can flip it off. Just turn it off and become who you really are. And this is what will happen with 5D. So I want to disavow you of the notion that 5D is going to come and hit you and change you, that you're going to just wait around for something to happen to you. Now, there very well and probably will be a 5D event, culminating event, but people will have to cooperate with that energy in order to shift. And the people that choose not to cooperate with it because they don't want to let go of their character for whatever reason, they will stay in a different reality. realities are going to shift and they're going to change. And right now, at this moment, we're in a state where Earth has multiple frequencies going on at the same time, which is why, if you're like me, and I'm pretty sure at least some of you, if not most of you are, if not all of you, I'm actually quite flabbergasted at the level of ignorance that humans have about this reality and the stubbornness with which they hold on to the narrative, and while I understand why they're doing it, because part of being a 3D human is needing to know what your reality is and taking comfort in believing that you know what your reality is. But in order to shift up to 5D, you're going to have to completely let go of what it is you think you know. And you're going to have to learn new things. And that is frightening to the third dimensional ego. So I understand why people are holding on to it. I guess from a personal perspective, it's flabbergasting to me that people don't want to know the truth. And, I've had many conversations with people who basically say, they don't realize they're saying it, but, if you listen to their words, they're very clear that they have an emotional attachment to their current interpretation of themselves and reality, and they don't want to know if what they believe is inaccurate. They don't want to know that. In fact, if you give them access to proof, like just not only proof, but just very, very strong evidence, they're not going, let's see, let's take a look at it. They're like, I don't even want to see that. I don't even want to know. And anyway, so that's troubling to me. It makes it difficult to function in this life. I think it's one of the reasons why my channel has been so, has not been as popular as I think it should be, because the stuff we talk about here is a lot of people don't want to know. They don't want to. They don't want to evolve beyond where they are. So if you're watching this, it means that you do want to know the truth more than you want to be comfortable. And if you have that ability, if you make that commitment that you want to know the truth if you want to know the truth more than you want to be comfortable, then you will succeed. And the good news is that the power that is available to you is absolutely unfathomable. It is immense, the power that is available to people who want to go through this 5D shift. And so I'm hoping that you're on here because you want to take responsibility and not wait around, hopefully, for something to happen, but take responsibility and make the shift happen now, because if you do that, you will shift. You've been watching the channel, you've been seeing me talk about Odin a lot, and how Odin sacrificed himself to himself, which means that he sacrificed his 3D ego to his 5D self. And when that happened, the mysteries of the universe, which actually are the frequencies that make up the universe. So what we know as the runes, those rune sounds and symbols, when you chant them with intent, you are vibrating at specific frequencies that literally make up all of our reality, not only physical, but psychological and spiritual. And so that means that when he made the decision to die to his third dimensional false self, and he was successful at doing that, what ended up happening is that he became the master of this reality. Because to be able to see all of the runes and to be able to be the master of them means that he could create reality. He became what we would consider to be God. And what is most amazing about that truth. I mean, I've spoken with Odin. I know Odin exists. I know that he is a being. I've spoken with him. You can get my book, Odin Says Jesus Was a Coward, and you can read the interaction that he and I had. And at that time, I didn't know really all of the information that I have now about him and how he became who he is. But there's no difference between that story of Odin dying to himself and becoming king of the gods, becoming the master of the runes. There's no difference between that and all the stories of other spiritual masters who became enlightened, quote unquote, and then were able to walk through walls and be able to be in multiple places, to be able to live forever. There's a lot of people that believe there's a guy named Babaji who's still alive, 2,000 years old, walking around in the Himalayas, but can walk through walls and disappear. The story of Jesus, the reason, even though I personally think the Jesus story was fictional, the core behind the idea of somebody transforming into a being beyond third dimension, this is something we accept and we believe because we intuitively know that it's true, and we remember. Everybody listening to me, there's a part of you that remembers when you were God and when you chose to become a limited identity. And there's possibility in other lifetimes that you went from a lower dimensional state to a higher dimensional state. You might have done this. And so my understanding about Odin now and all of the gods is that these are not states that are alien to us. These are states that we can choose to experience. And unlike what religion tells you, which is you have to be perfect and you have to be righteous and you have to do all these things, and even many spiritual practices that say you have to practice this for many, many years before, unlike that, the truth of the matter is that if you made the decision, you could have an instant transformative experience. And the only difference between a god and a third dimensional human is that the god is in a higher dimension. It's the only difference. As it turns out, the things that we would consider to be sins, being hateful, being abusive, being selfish, being manipulative, lying, cheating, hurting others, being frightened, greedy, all of those things aren't sins. What they are is a misunderstanding of your relationship to reality, and that brings you down to a lower frequency. And when you're at a lower frequency, you lose power. You go to a higher frequency, you're going to have more power. And when you compare somebody who's in the fifth dimension and somebody who's in the third dimensional person is going to see the fifth dimensional person as being a god. And the only difference is they just happen to be vibrating at a different frequency, which means they get to do all kinds of things that we think are magical and beyond, but it's just stuff that doesn't fit in the third dimension. So we are going to be doing, please stay till the end, because we are going to be doing an interdimensional meditation. I want you to understand what you can accomplish with these meditations. There's going to be a lot more things that are going to be coming onto the shop at thunderwizard.com that will give you access to things. I'm going to go into something called the quantum rune meditation and chanting, which is, again, if you can vibrate these runes from the quantum perspective, you're not just a human chanting and having these runes affect you. You're going to higher dimensions and you're creating realities, just like a god would do. And to the extent that you're willing to believe that you can do that, you can do that. I'm going to lift the lid off all of the secrecy of all of this stuff, because we are in a state of transformation, and all humans will be in this, all 5D humans will be in this state. So there's no reason to hide any of this stuff anymore. So before I go any further, if you're new to the channel, I need you to subscribe, like, and comment. Hit the bell button, because when you do that, you'll know whenever I upload a video or if I go live. And I need you to go to 2 playlists if you're new to the channel, which is, I need you to go to the Interdimensional Meditation and the 12 Steps to 5D. The Maoshan Qigong is moving over to the thunderwizard.com website in the shop. So all of those meditative and Qigong practices will be available to you in the shop. But if you're new and you just want to check out the channel, go and do Interdimensional Meditation, which is free, and 12 Steps to 5D. Both of those things are free. While you're doing that, I recommend you subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. You can unsubscribe whenever you want. And I'll upload some videos telling you exactly what it is in case you want to know. But you'll have access to videos. You simply just press play and do what I'm doing. And there's multiple phases. And this will empower your physical body, the nervous system, the meridians, the chakras will be able to be empowered so that you can handle the energy that we are going to be doing in these meditations. So this is what yoga used to be. We don't know yoga. We think yoga now is going and stretching, but that's just hatha yoga, and that was just the basic entry level to get the body ready for the mantras and the meditations that, you know, real yoga is. But I'm going to fast track all of that. If you go to thunderwizard.com, subscribe to the 90-day challenge, you can fast track all of that, and you can go at your own pace. Anyway, so that's what I need you to do if you're new to the channel. And also those of you who, even if you aren't new, the shop is now, we're getting more and more things in there. So what we're talking about now, the secret, Odin's secret method of chanting the runes, I have here. This is thunderwizard.com. If you click on shop right now, you will see this, and you'll see Rune Shamanism 1, 2, 3, and all of the other beneath it. There's, you know, but there's 22 products in there. So those are the latest ones. And those 3, Rune Shamanism 1, 2, and 3, that teaches you this method, especially number 3. Number 3 has the specific method of how to chant the runes the way that Odin originally taught it, however many thousands of years ago that was. All right, so let's get back to business here. How God becomes human and how humans become God. So I've got a little map here for us to look at. So in the center there, you see Formless Consciousness 12D. All right, so let's just start with that. So God is not what religion has told you. Religion has told you that God is this all-powerful, separate identity that lives somewhere apart from you. And that you didn't exist until this God decided to create you. Now, the biggest fallacy of religion is that it tells you that if God created you, he can destroy you. And you end up becoming less than God. It also teaches you that you have the ability, because God gives you free will. In other words, there's a belief that he could have not given you free will, but he chose to give you free will. And because you have free will, you can act in ways that will anger and hurt him, which he calls sins. That will create a distance between you where God will be angry with you. God will want to punish you, might even punish you eternally. Now, on the surface, if you were to talk about a human that talked that way about their child, if a human said, I created you, I can get rid of you whenever you want, your job is to make me happy, when you don't make me happy, you're separate from me. I mean, if a parent were to talk like that, we would lock them up. But it's interesting that we've been told to worship this being, that it's okay for this being, simply because they're powerful, can be hurtful and narcissistic like that. So I'm bringing that to your attention because if humans aren't allowed to be that way towards other humans, then rationally, just from a rational perspective, it doesn't make sense that the being that created all of us would take that attitude. Because it doesn't make any sense. Consciousness is consciousness. And so the real truth is that there is, if you want to look at the source of consciousness as the one God, you can do that, and there would be some correctness to that. You'd have some accuracy to that. Bear in mind, we're dealing with a holographic understanding. You can look at it from multiple points and still be correct. Two things that seem completely opposite can still be correct when you're dealing with a quantum holographic understanding. But it's not incorrect to say that there is a God out there which is the source of all consciousness. But just like, your fingers, the idea that if somebody chops off your fingers, that doesn't have any effect on you is inaccurate. You have blood. If you lose all the blood in your body, you die. So and if you look at consciousness as an energy source, then this being that is supposedly creating other beings, that would mean that it has a direct energetic connection to that conscious being. And so it would be impossible for that source to ever be disconnected. If you have a light ray coming in from somewhere and you block it out, the rays of light that are in the room will disappear. It's not like the light comes in and then stays here if you disconnect it from the source. Once you disconnect it from the source, the light disappears. So it's impossible for consciousness to ever be separated from itself. It's impossible. The only thing that happens is that consciousness chooses to become more and more individuated. And the more individuated it becomes, and I don't mean that in the psychological sense, I mean becoming more of an individual. The more of an individual the conscious being becomes, the lower the frequency is. And now we end up talking about dimensions. So when you look at this map here, formless consciousness, we can call that God, is in the 12th dimension. Now this is coming, by the way, this isn't coming from any book. I didn't read this in a book anywhere. This is coming from my personal experiences in the astral realm. I've sat across and communicated with this formless consciousness, and this being explained to me what it all is, and even said, "You're me. You don't realize that you're talking to yourself right now." And I said, "I am? Yeah, I'm you. You're me." And then said, "Come on in, I'll show you." And I went into the light, and the next thing I knew, I was sitting there talking to myself, and it's a real mind-bending trip. And no, I wasn't on any drugs or any entheogens. This is just a result of doing the interdimensional meditations that I've been doing for the past 3 years, which I'm here to help you learn. So the formless consciousness cannot be separated from any of itself. And this is what is meant when I've got here and I say, I am Odin, because Odin realized that. And I have a different understanding of that. I now know that Odin, first I know Odin exists. He's a real person. He's not a human, but he very well might have been, and he probably was, because he didn't exist. There wasn't any god named Odin in the Germanic pantheon until about 2,000 years ago. And then all of a sudden, this Odin character creeps up, and he's the king of the gods. And the same being shows up as Shiva in the Vedic pantheon around the same time. Shiva wasn't Shiva, there was Rudra, blah, 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 and then all of a sudden Shiva shows up, and he's the king of the gods for the Vedics. Slightly different. I understand that they're not completely the same, and they have the same root name, which is Ug, which means terrifying. So I know that this being went through that and the point of that is that any one of us can do this. Any of you listening to me can become as powerful as Shiva, as powerful as Odin, as powerful as Zeus, you can become far more powerful than Jehovah, by the way. Because Jehovah doesn't say, I am you. And that's because he's limited. Jehovah says, I am that I am. And you can't have any other gods. In fact, he goes on to say, you won't find me under the oceans. You won't find me in the... He goes through all this thing about where you won't find him. Now, that was so that people would stop worshiping these other gods when this new religion, it's a very new religion, by the way, the whole Jehovah religion. It's only about 3,000 years old. And he separates himself from all of the other gods. We could get into all that. I write that in my book, Odin Says Jesus Was a Coward. But he's very adamant that he isn't in any of those other gods. Now, what that means is that he is isolated. He's isolated from other conscious energy, which means he's the opposite of what he claims to be. He's very limited, very insecure. That's why he gets so angry when you don't do exactly what he wants, and he gets so angry when you don't give him all of the praise and all of the glory. But other gods are completely different, and they always have been. And by the way, Jehovah is just the human ego. People who worship Jehovah are worshiping their own ego. That isn't to say that you can't worship those gods, the biblical God, and have an honest, pure heart. You'll learn, at some point you will learn and grow beyond it, but it doesn't mean you can't be sincere. And there's some beautiful people in that religion. They're just not as educated about it as they will be. By the way, when 5D comes, that's what's going to happen. The first thing that's going to go is religion. Everybody's going to realize that their religion was a symbol, and that actual reality is something else, and they'll walk away from that. It's a crutch that we need in the third dimension because we feel isolated and alone, and we need something, and that symbol will go away, whatever it is. Anyway, so God can't be separated from himself. Because consciousness, light can't be separated from itself. And light is everything. Everything, when you get to the core of it, is light. Consciousness is light. Matter is light. It's frozen light. It's a frequency. Everything is a frequency. Everything is light and sound. And you are a sound. You are a frequency. So when we do these interdimensional meditations, what will eventually happen doesn't need to happen right now. It can be whatever it is for you right now. But eventually what is going to happen, if you continue to do this, is that you will become conscious of your higher dimensional nature. You will become conscious of your true identity, which is, again, what happened to Odin. He sacrificed himself, small self, to himself, big self. He got rid of his third dimensional identity and he adopted his higher dimensional true identity. And when he did that, he became the king of the gods. All of the gods bowed before him. Let me tell you something about Odin, Shiva. And there's a mantra, Shiva has a mantra, Shivoham, I am Shiva, which means he's telling you to chant a mantra that says that you are him. That's the opposite, again, the opposite of the Abrahamic religious God who says, I am separate from you. Don't you dare say you're me. That's blasphemy. If you claim to be God, they put you to death. What does Shiva say? Shiva says, oh yeah, I am you and you're me. In fact, you should chant that you are me. He says, I'm not competing with you. You want to be me? Go right ahead. You want to be greater than me? I'll help you figure it out. I don't care. I'm you. I mean, I want to be everywhere. I want to be where you are. I want to be where they are. I want to be everything. Jehovah says, I don't want to be anything. I don't even want you to make an image of me. Don't look for me anywhere. I'm all alone by myself. You can't touch me. Typical narcissist. So it's just absolutely mind-blowing to realize that you are already God. So the way that we became humans is that we were, and if you go into the quantum source, you will see that all of the souls in the entire multiverse are there. You are already there. And what this is it's just a light ray that's come all the way down, boink, and manifested here on this 3D plane. But if you follow that light of your soul and you take it all the way back, you're going to end up right back at the source, and you're going to go, oh, that's right, I was God this whole time. I was just dreaming I was a person. And to be conscious of that is the ideal. It's not to transcend it. If you don't want to stop being an individual, you don't have to. You can still be an individual in a manifested universe. But how much more fun will it be when you realize that you're this God out there having a dream? You'll enjoy it. It will be a lucid dream. You will be in control of it. It will be a video game that you can control and change whenever you choose. All right? So I'm talking around a lot of stuff. So this formless consciousness became an individual. Now, you see the different dimensions here. So human beings, if you got in the bottom right corner, this is when consciousness goes all the way down as far as it can go and still have some self-awareness. Once you get down into 2D, you lose all self-awareness. That's why demons are down there. But at 3D is, as I understand it, the lowest you can go and still achieve some spiritual consciousness. And I do believe that what we call 5D is actually going to be the higher register of the third dimension. True, fifth dimension is something else. Maybe we'll get there, I don't know. But I do know because I've already been taken to a higher frequency of 3D, which I'm perfectly happy calling 5D. It's just a word. So humans can go from 3D to 5D. A 5D human being would be like Baba Ji or a resurrected Jesus or an enlightened being, the Buddha, whatever. Okay, so that's, if you want to stay in the third dimension, you can still achieve that. You can wake up from the dream and still be a 3D being, but you can walk through walls, be in multiple places. You can tap into higher dimensions. You remember who you really are, but you can play the role of 3D human and help others and be a guide and be a teacher and be a bodhisattva, all of that. So that's humans. If we go clockwise, we get to demons. Now, demons are second dimension and third dimensional beings. I made a video about this. I won't get too deep into it, but there are some beings like werewolves, and I forget what they call it, but there are these wolf beings that people experience and they see. And what I've come to find out about those kinds of beings, demons also. And if you notice, ghosts will pull your energy out of you to manifest. So that's the difference. People conflate ghosts with light beings, and light beings don't take energy, they give it. Whereas lower dimensional entities that aren't physical, they will pull from your energy in order to have the energy to manifest in some way. So in the second dimension, like werewolves and things like that, demons that show up, and their places really crazy, the Mothman and, all that kind of stuff. Those are lower dimensional beings that do not manifest until you look at them. So to give you an example, I can't remember the name of what they call that thing, like some kind of wolf being or something like that. And when you look at it, it looks like a giant, like 6-foot wolf man, red eyes, growling, and it'll be eating something. It'll be eating like some animal. It'll be eating like a sheep or something like that. And there was a place where this was happening, and this guy bought a farm, and people around him said, "Oh yeah, the wolf monster is gonna eat your sheep." And he's like, "Yeah, right, whatever." And sure enough, he was finding his sheep, just torn to shreds and eaten, and really weird, strange ways. And so he set up a trail cam. Now, what the trail cam caught, now bear in mind, no human was watching it. It was just being filmed. So there wasn't a human being to look at it. So what the trail cam caught was this mist. And the mist would surround the sheep. And then when the mist was gone, the sheep would be like drained of blood and dead. And he's like, what the hell is this? So what that means is that, and this is important because we're going to do the same thing, but with higher dimensional beings looking at us and accomplishing different things. So when you as a third dimensional being, when you look at these two-dimensional beings, they take form, they take physical form because you can sense that they're predators. Because they're two-dimensional beings. They can only steal and eat and kill and destroy. And you sense that. So when you look at them, you see them that way, and your mind comes up with something that it understands, and so it turns it into a wolf. But if you stop looking at it, it'll disappear and turn into a mist, because it won't have any ability to manifest without you looking at it, because you're a higher dimensional being. You're a third dimensional being looking at a two-dimensional being. So you give it a third dimensional existence, but it's going to operate from its nature, which is as a predator. So it's going to look like a big giant red-eyed wolf that'll scare the crap out of you. Now, what happens when we go to higher dimensions? As third dimensional consciousness beings, we go to higher dimensions. Fifth dimensional beings or higher, when they look at us, we begin to become what they see. And what they see is your higher dimensional essence. So you will begin to shift and change into what they are looking at. That's the power of this meditation that we're going to be doing today. So I want you to have that knowledge so that you can give yourself permission to shift out of your third dimensional, isolation. Now you're going to have to come back into your third dimensional body and integrate that, and that's why it's important that we keep doing this. And again, by the way, those of you who are interested, again, people ask me to do this, I put it up, and so far nobody's taken me up on it. But I'm going to have live Zoom class and discussion groups, and that is a subscription. So you have to go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe to that, and that will give us the ability to talk to each other. Because if you're by yourself in this transformation, you're going to feel like you're losing your mind. You're going to have a hard time believing it. But when you talk to other people who are going through it, you're going to realize you're not making this stuff up, and it'll give you the ability to solidify and expand into a higher dimensional version of yourself. So if you want that, go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe for the discussion, Zoom class and discussion group. You'll get access to the 90-day challenge, and if you're an apprentice, you'll also get, anyway, you can go check it out. You know what I'm talking about. All right, so we've got demons. And people who talk about being attacked by demons, you don't understand that they can't touch you as a third dimensional being unless you give them permission. Now, you don't do this consciously, because nobody consciously does this unless there's something really wrong with you. You do this on an unconscious level when you have wounds. Your wounds are going to be two-dimensional in nature. Anger, fear, resentment, insecurity, self-hatred, predatory nature, manipulation, narcissism. These are all two-dimensional concepts. And when you get your feelings hurt, when somebody actually abuses you and does you real harm, it creates wounds. Those wounds become portals to lower dimensions. Every time you're wrapped up in hatred, when you're wrapped up in fear, when you're wrapped up in resentment, you're actually going to a lower dimensional frequency. When you're down there, the lower dimensional beings go, hey, look at that. And you're food for them. And they will follow you up. They will follow your emotions up. So people who are possessed, people who are attacked, it's real simple. Get over your third dimensional issues, take full responsibility. You will close that portal up and they can't touch you. Got me? So those are demons. We go counterclockwise, you see 5D to 8D, you see light beings. So light beings are what we mistakenly interpret as extraterrestrials. They don't have to be physical ETs, they can just be higher dimensional light being spirits. There's no shortage of them out there as well. And when you get into the 5D, there's no difference. They all hang out at the same place. Like you're hanging out with a higher dimensional, a physical being. Like one of my guides is a mantis being. You can be hanging out with the mantis beings, and along with the mantis beings will be 5D humans, as well as just a light being spirit that doesn't have a body. They're all hanging out, talking to each other. There's no difference. That's what it's like out there. It's a big giant party with just happy, conscious people. But they will always be light beings to us because from the third dimensional perspective, any being higher than that is going to appear as light if you were to physically see them. And again, this is unfortunate. People conflate these beings with the aliens that abduct, and those are actually three-dimensional beings. And you've heard me talk about that. That has nothing to do with extraterrestrials. It has to do with evil dark force humans using all kinds of magic and technology and other things to create the illusion of aliens abducting. People actually do get abducted and experimented on, but they're done by humans using magic and technology. So 5D to 8D means that you have the ability to have a body. That's all that means. And so having a body in the fifth dimension, when a fifth dimensional physical being interacts with the third dimension, your experience is that you're in the presence of a very powerful spirit. That's how you'll experience it. But they could very well have a physical body. It's just a fifth dimensional body that's able to do all kinds of things that your body can't do. And so I've got that from 5 to 8. Again, I'm guessing. I'm not going to, don't try and hold me to exactly how many dimensions there are. I don't know. I think there's between 9 and 12. But as I understand it from physics, you can have a physical body all the way up till the 8th dimension. And then once you get past the 8th dimension, you can no longer physically manifest because you're too much in too many different probable realities to be in one physical body. So that's why when we go clockwise again from there, we see the deities. The deities are at the 9th dimension and above. So anyway, I could get into all that, but those of you listening, if you want to know, you want to get out of the new age nonsense of densities. I'm okay with the idea of people talking about higher densities if what they're focusing on is higher consciousness. I don't care what word you use. But if you want to get a stickler about it, the whole idea of densities is nonsense. It's a made-up thing. Don't listen to that. Go and research on YouTube from physicists talking about what's it like in higher dimensions. What would happen if you lived in the 5th dimension? There are physicists that talk about it. It's a much more entertaining understanding than the whole idea of densities. Anyway, I don't want to beat anybody up. But anyway, I just want you to have an understanding. And again, this isn't coming from anything I read. The reason why I talk about listening to physicists is because when I was having these higher dimensional experiences, that was the only thing that explained it. It was so bizarre. I thought I was losing my mind. And I was losing my third dimensional reality, and I was, in other dimensions, and you feel like you're going crazy. It wasn't until I was listening to these physicists explaining what the scientific understanding is of what happens to your experience when you're in a higher dimension, and then I went, oh, okay, I'm not crazy. That's for the first time I'm hearing somebody explain my experience. And you'll have this experience too, to whatever degree that you are able and willing, if you keep doing these meditations with me. All right, so we came from formless consciousness, which I'm calling 12D, and we came down, we became human beings in the third dimension, but we can choose to be as far along that ladder from 3D to 12D. We can be anywhere we choose to be if you make the decision to do that. It's not about belief, it's not about faith, it's just about making the decision. And the light beings, the beings from 5 to 8D, they are surrounding Earth right now because Earth is going through that shift, and they're literally like with a ladder to anybody that wants out. You know, you want to go to a higher dimension? I will lend you some of my energy so that you can do that. I will look at you, and if you allow yourself to see yourself in my eyes, you will shift up to that. If you listen to them telling you who you are and what you are, and you allow that energy in, it will shift you up. So that's what these meditations are all about. If you want to know if these beings exist, you can find out. You don't have to take my word for it. If you want to find out if anything I'm telling you is true or false, you can find out for yourself. I'm not a prophet. I'm not trying to create a cult. I don't want you to follow me and, the book and, Mahadeva said. I'm not interested in any of that. I just want to share with my friends the crazy, wonderful things that are happening that you can have access to. And everybody that does this has some level of experience. Again, depending on your karma, depending on your desire, and what you're able to handle. All right, so there's an introduction to that. And again, before we get into it, guys, this channel, if the only reason that I'm able to do this 24/7 is because people subscribe to the 90-day challenge, and now that people are buying products from the shop. If you don't do that, I can't eat. I can't do this. So if you are getting anything out of these videos, I'm grateful to everybody that's here. First thing I want you to do is I want you to go to my Facebook page and follow me there. That is Path of the Thunder Wizard. I want you to take the video links that I put up and share them with whoever you want. We want this channel to go viral. And then if you are able to and you've gotten anything out of these videos, support this channel, because if you don't, I won't survive. I'll have to go work at Walmart or something like that. So I need you guys to be able to do this work, and I'm appreciative to everybody. But the good news is I guarantee you, if you take advantage of the resources that I'm giving you, I can guarantee you absolute, complete, total life-changing experiences. And you have my permission to try and prove me wrong. In fact, I encourage you to try and prove me wrong. All right, having said that, we'll go ahead and get into the meditation. We'll see what's going to happen. And we'll just take it from there. So what I need for you to do now is to get into your comfortable meditative position, whatever that is. If you're going to be doing it sitting down, lying down, you can put headphones on, cover your eyes, whatever you do. Don't do this while you're driving. Make sure that you're able to do this. If you need to, you can stop this. This will be recorded up on YouTube. You can go and watch it and do it at your leisure. All right, so get yourself nice and prepared. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to do some breathing to get ourselves ready. So just relax. Just start breathing long and deep. Just focus on your body. Focus on the feelings of your body. I can already tell that the light beings are excited. I can already feel their energy. So they're already here helping any of you that want to connect with them. All right, and do me a favor, take a deep breath in and hold it. And exhale. Take another deep breath in. Hold it. And exhale. Take another deep breath in and hold it. Hold. And exhale. Let everything go. All of your problems are all made up nonsense. None of it exists. Again, breathe long and deep. Allow Mother Earth's embrace to pull you closer towards her. We call this gravity. Feel your feet getting pulled into the ground. If you're sitting, if you're lying down, feel Mother Earth pull you closer and closer towards herself. She loves you. She's embracing you. That's why she won't let you fly away, because she loves you that much. And just continue to focus on that. Feel your body becoming more and more relaxed, which opens up more and more of the energy, the blood flow. You can do and be whatever you choose. All right, now we're going to do the huar breath, which you hear in the background, which is huar. It means earth transforming into 5D. So inhale and chant with me. Okay, bring your attention back to the sound of my voice. Stay in that resonance. We're now going to focus on our heart center. And you can imagine energy rotating in your heart center. This is where your soul resides. This is the part of you that is pure, undifferentiated consciousness. The part of you that is God is in your soul. What we're going to do now is we're going to allow our consciousness to come out of our heart center. It's going to come out of our heart center and float above our physical body. Look down on your physical body and thank your body for providing a vehicle for you to enjoy third dimensional reality. We're now going to allow ourselves to float up to the ceiling. We pass through the roof. We're looking down now on the roof of our home, our building. And we continue to allow this energy to pull us up further and further into Mother Earth's atmosphere. We can see the earth pulling away from us. We can see our neighborhood, the city that we live in. We can see the state we live in. We can see the continent we live in. We continue to float up. We can see that the earth is in fact a sphere. We come to the edge of the atmosphere and the gravitational field, and we allow ourselves to break through that. We are now floating free in space, and we are no longer part of third dimensional space-time of Earth. We look down and we see that Earth is in fact a conscious being herself. And we can see and feel all of the life and all of the consciousness teeming down on Earth. We look around and we can see the sun, and we send love to our mother, the sun. So tell her how much you love her. She really enjoys hearing that. Do that now. And now look around and see if you can find the moon. And go ahead and send gratitude and peace to the moon. And ask the moon to help you in your meditative mind, to help you to detach from your worries and to connect to your intuition. Do this now. And now we are going to call our guides. If you know who your guide is, you can go ahead and call them by name. If you've never talked to your spirit guide, all you need to do is just send out the mental request that your spirit guide come to you now. Go ahead and do this in your own words. And now we're going to send out invitations in all of the dimensions to any and all light beings of any form, whether they be physical light beings or whether they are gods. They are going to be invited to come and empower our meditations. Just go ahead and, in your own words, send out the mental invitation for any and all higher dimensional beings to come and empower our meditation. All right, now, whether you had an experience, whether you saw or felt something is immaterial. The intent is what matters, and I guarantee you, you are surrounded by light beings who are intent on helping you in your meditation. What we're going to do now is we are going to go to a place that we've gone to before, which is a place called the place of inspiration. So what we're going to do is we're going to see in the distance, we're going to see a point of light, and it has a blue hue to it, and we are going to begin flying towards that. Us, our guides, all of the light beings are coming with us, and we get to this portal, and we allow ourselves to go in, and as we go into this blue portal of light, we find ourselves on what feels like a roller coaster. We're going through this huge dimensional wormhole that's twisting and turning, loop-de-loops, doing all kinds of strange, weird things. And then we find ourselves popping out in this beautiful world. It looks like it's an underground cave. And there is a lake, and at the top of a mountain on the other side of the lake is a bright blue light that is shining. And this is the blue light that we see. And this light is the light of inspiration. Beings in the multiverse come here to be inspired, to grow and expand beyond where they are. You can come here if you want to be inspired to do the work, the projects that you want to do in your life, whatever they are. So what we're going to do is we're just going to sit here on the shores of this lake, looking up at this blue light, and I want you to breathe in this energy. And while we're doing that, we're going to chant the Hua breath again. So inhale and chant with me. Allow this blue light to come into your third eye, penetrating your whole body. Go ahead and bring your attention back to the sound of my voice. Now, what you're going to do is you are going to ask your guide or one of the light beings that are with you to stand in front of you. And what you're going to ask them to do is to look into your eyes and help you to see yourself as they see you. Go ahead and do this in your own words. Ask them to do this now. And bring your attention back to the sound of my voice. You can continue this meditation at any time. You can come back to this place and finish whatever it was being shown to you. It doesn't matter whether you saw or felt anything. The only thing that matters is your intent. And if your intent is honest, I guarantee you something has been happening to you. What we're going to do now, you're going to acknowledge what was said. Right now, what I'd like for you to do is repeat back in your mind to the light beings what they showed you, what they told you. Do this now. Bring your attention back to the sound of my voice. Now what we're going to do is we're going to back out of this dimension. And remember, you can always come back here. We're going to go through the wormhole back into our third dimensional space. So we go through the twists and the turns and the loop-de-loops. And we come back out and we find ourselves squirted back out into our three-dimensional space, and we can see off in the distance, we can see Earth. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just spend another moment with our guides. What I'd like for you to do is just simply ask them if they have anything that they would like to say to you, whether that be to give you love, encouragement, advice, whatever it is. Go ahead and ask them now to speak whatever words they choose to speak to you. Bring your attention back to the sound of my voice. Again, you can finish that conversation anytime you choose. Now we're going to take our energy and focus back on Earth. So what we're going to do now is we are going to fly back to Earth. And what we're going to do is we, as well as all of our guides and all of the light beings who have come to join us, we are going to encircle the Earth. Before we do that, we are going to send a request to Mother Sun, and we are going to ask her to send her energy into us and empower us before we give it to Mother Earth. So we're going to chant the Hua breath, which is actually the sound of the sun energizing the earth, and we're going to ask the sun to send this energy directly to us while we chant. Take a deep breath and chant with me as you surround earth. And bring your attention back to the sound of my voice. We say thank you to the sun. We tell her that we love her. We are now filled with her higher dimensional solar energy. And so we turn towards the earth and we can see that there is a ring of fire surrounding the earth, and that is all of us. And we are empowered with her, the sun's energy, and we are going to combine this energy with the energy of inspiration that we received. And when I give you the signal, we're going to chant this mantra again, but you're going to send out of your third eye and out of your heart. You're going to send these combination of inspiration as well as the solar energy of evolution. We're going to send this like laser beams into the earth. It'll penetrate to the center of the earth and it will begin to expand and shine outwards, and we will see the earth shining like a multicolored rainbow star in the middle of the sky. Ready? Take a deep breath in, chant with me. Attention back to the sound of my voice. We can now see the earth is pulsating with a powerful, beautiful rainbow energy. We can feel Mother Earth sighing with relief as the pressure is relieved. We can see that all those people on Earth who are part of the dark force agenda, we can see them losing power, losing ground. We can feel that everybody on Earth is beginning to wake up. More and more people are waking up to the truth of what is really happening to our planet and to our species. What I'd like for you to do now is gather your crew around you, have your guide and your light beings gather around you. And what I'd like for you to do is ask them to come and visit you whenever they choose, if you're comfortable with that. And ask them to begin the process of helping you to see yourself the way that they see you, and to begin your conscious, deliberate shift to 5D. Go ahead and do this now in your own words. Bring your attention back to the sound of my voice. We're now going to head back towards Earth, so we let go of all of the light beings and allow them to go back to wherever they choose to go, except of course for our personal guides who are always with us. So we send our thanks to them and we let them go back to their realms. And now we are with our own guides. And once again, I'd like for you to take a moment and ask them if they have any words of advice for you. Do this now. And bring your attention back to the sound of my voice. Now we're going to start heading back towards Earth. We look at Earth and we can see the rainbow energy still coming off of her. And we allow ourselves to go back down into Earth's atmosphere. We pass into Earth's gravity field and we can feel that something has changed. It feels very different. We can feel the conscious energy of Earth, and we can feel all of the conscious beings on Earth going through a shift and coming to awareness. We begin to fall down closer and closer to our continent. We can see our state. We can see the city that we live in. We can see our neighborhood. And we allow ourselves to pass through the roof of our building, our house. And we stop and we float above our own body. We have a lot of energy that we didn't have before, and we're going to send this to our physical body. So as you are hovering over your body, I would like for you to imagine your body the way you want it to be, completely free of illness, strong, powerful, youthful, and capable of doing anything that you desire. Go ahead and just send pure health to your body. Now we're just going to allow ourselves to float down and merge back into our physical bodies. We're back in our physical bodies again. Take a deep breath in and hold it. And exhale. Take another deep breath in. And exhale. Take one last deep breath in. Hold it. And exhale. Rub your hands together. Bring your hands over your eyes. Feel the warmth of your hands. Inhale that warmth through your eyes into your whole brain and body. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale one last time. And exhale. Rub your eyes. Rub your face, your scalp, back of the neck, front of the neck, shoulders, arms, chest, stomach, back, legs. Bring yourself completely back into your physical body. Okay, so if you had any experiences, I would write them down. If you got any messages, write them down. If you didn't have an experience, trust me, that doesn't mean anything. I guarantee you that you were seen. I guarantee you that things happened. And if you continue to do this, I can guarantee you your life will change. For those of you that are open to it, now that you have given them permission, if you chose to do so, these light beings will visit you whenever. They'll show up in your dreams. They'll show up just when you're sitting lying in bed. You will feel a presence come in. And of course, they won't interact with you if you don't want them to. So you can choose to accept them or not. But to the extent that you want these beings to interact with your life, they will come to you. I can guarantee you that. And if you are willing to allow this energy to penetrate, your life will change. You will begin to change. Everything will begin to change. And it is my belief that if we continue to do this, we will shift the world. I've been told over and over again by these beings that we humans are the ones that must make this shift. And so my goal is to do that. And so I would like for you to keep this channel and me in your meditations. And what I'd like for you to meditate on is that this channel goes viral, that these live interdimensional meditations become something that people are doing all over the world. We've got thousands, if not millions of people. If we had thousands of people doing these live meditations, even if it was scattered throughout the day because people are watching it and recorded and doing it, I guarantee you the shift would come. No doubt in my mind, would absolutely show up. So that is my goal with this channel. Now again, I would like to bring your attention to supporting this channel. Of course, showing up and doing the meditations is the most important part. If you go here to thunderwizard.com, there's, I think there's something like 450 subscribers. Only, I think 38 or something like that. 38 of those are actually contributing. The rest of them are free, which means they don't get anything out of it. I don't get anything out of it other than, the nice thought. And so imagine if all those people who were free subscribers to ThunderWizard, imagine if they were just giving $5 a month. I would have absolutely zero financial issues and all of my time and effort could go into this. So bear that in mind. Now, if you want more of this power, I'm going to be adding more and more teachings and video courses onto the shop and into the subscription parts of the channel at some point as well. And if you want to have an experience, then what you will benefit from is if you do the energy practices that I teach. So subscribing to the 90-day challenge, without a doubt, will open up all of your meridians. Trust me, you'll find out if you do it. If you don't want to subscribe, go to the shop. There's 22 video courses in there, all different kinds of Qigong, meditation. If you want to learn how to completely be free of disease and live forever, there's the enjoyment sheaths, which I just uploaded. I've got there's just stuff going back 15, 20 years that I've turned into video teachings. So take advantage of all of that. And of course, there's the wood element, the 5 Maoshan shamanic kung fu, which I won't take your time to talk about, but easily the most powerful thing. What I recommend to get the most out of these meditations is I'm going to be uploading some courses having to do with quantum rune chanting, but definitely take a look at the pineal gland, the Huar breath pineal gland technique. If you master that pineal gland meditation technique and you apply it to the things that I've already taught and the things I'm about to teach, I can't even begin to imagine what you can accomplish. Because once you activate that pineal gland and you use the proper frequencies and visualizations and things like that, combined with flipping on your pineal gland, we're going to reach levels of power that humans have never seen before. And so this very well may be the beginning of, humans turning 5D. So these are all new practices. You want to practice stuff that's been going on for hundreds of thousands of years, like Kriya Yoga and Hatha Yoga and all that, you can. This is what's coming directly from the Ascended Masters for this 5D shift. And I'm not the only game in town, but I guarantee you, if you do this stuff, you'll never be the same. So I invite you to do all of that. I'll take a look and see if there's any questions or anything. Let's see here. Thundra says hello. Lady Rebecca says hello. Lady Rebecca says, is there a beginner video about this, Odin? I've got how many hundreds or thousands of videos on my channel. You can go and look. I have books, michaelwilliamdenny.com. You can go and take a look at all my shamanism books. I've got a book directly with my interactions with Odin about 10 or so years ago. So there's a ton of stuff. So Lady Rebecca, I have nothing but resources. The channel is a resource. The thunderwizard.com, the subscription service, is a resource. There's 20 years of videos in there, teachings in there, and of course my books. So as there are videos, tons of them. Please avail yourself of researching that. Thunderwizard.com is where you find all the stuff that's available. Thank you for asking. There's Thunder Bunny. She says, hello, Jedi Black Knight. Let's see, Jedi Black Knight question. Have you ever encountered scorpionic 5D and above beings? I have not. That doesn't mean they don't exist. So I haven't. But you can journey. You can do, once you learn how to interdimensionally meditate, you can go out there and you can search for anything. If you want to find out if those beings exist, then you call your guides and say, take me to the scorpionic beings, and you'll find out if they exist or not. I don't know that it's possible to know all of the beings, there's infinite numbers of conscious beings out there. And all of them are loving, all of them. Once you're outside of 5D, it doesn't matter. It's impossible for those beings to be anything other than loving. Let's see, what else? Zinc says, very new to spiritual work, but really enjoying your guiding meditations. However, sometimes find it difficult to concentrate on exactly what you're saying. Still feel quite good afterwards. Well, that last sentence is what's important. So I'll say it again, and I'll say it as many times as anybody needs to hear it. It doesn't matter what your experience is. The only thing that matters is your intent. And I can guarantee you that if you are doing these meditations with me, my energy, the energy of my guides, because I ask them and I make sure, I say, take care of my friends that are with me. So you're taken care of. You got nothing to worry about. You're on the bus. Somebody else is driving. I'm going to drive the bus. You just sit there. You can get distracted with whatever you get distracted. You'll still be on the bus. And as long as your intention is sincere, if you have the slightest desire for this to have an effect on you, it will. And if you keep doing it, things are going to change. Now, if you're very new to spiritual work, again, I'm, talking to you when I say subscribe to this, go to the shop, just pick one. I mean, there's the Awakening the Immortals. I specifically put that on there in the shop, really inexpensive. It's incredibly powerful. And if you just do that, everything in your body will shift and change. Your pineal gland will kick in. All you just have to turn on this, your body already has this transceiver. That's what the chakras are. That's what the meridians are. That's what the dantians are. That's what the pineal gland. All that stuff is already built in. You just got to flip it on. And you do that by doing these very simple exercises. You combine that with your intent, and you've got this rocket ship that goes anywhere in the universe. There are beings out there. I mean, one of my guides, the mantis being, very early on, one of the first things I did, I just thought this was a cool idea, so I did a live guided meditation in June of 2022. We went to the sun and we sent energy to Earth. And I came back from that and the light beings showed up and they were absolutely beside themselves with glee and they were thanking me. I've never felt such gratitude. And I'm like, what are you guys thanking me for? And then another being showed up and gave me this big upgrade that, you know, just rocked my world. And I'm like, what did I do? What did I do? And I was meditating and my mantis being friend showed up and he said, I want to show you something. And he took me to the sun and we went to the sun and he said, I'm going to do what you did. And he went inside the sun and he tried to send energy to Earth and he said, I can't do it. He said, I don't have the right wiring. He said, only you can do this because you're human and you have the same frequency as Earth. You're the only one capable of directing this energy. And they've said to me over and over again that you are going to bring the 5D shift, that humans have to do this. So Zinc, you're new to spiritual work and Jedi Black Knight and everybody else, you know, you don't know, you think you're just fantasizing? Yeah. And you get distracted and all that? Yeah, big deal. So what? I promise you, there are things happening out there in the astral realm. You have far more power than you realize. And all you have to do is just have the intent. But this physical body has within it, I mean, these beings wish they could be human. Let me put it to you that way. And a lot of them would say, I'm going to speak for them. They would never speak to us this way. But I'm going to speak for them, which is, oh my God, if I had the wiring and the technology that you have inside your body, I would rule the universe. You humans have no idea the power that you have. And this is why, you know, there's been yoga and qigong and meditation and runes and mantra and magic. That's why we've had this for thousands of years. Because eventually human beings would evolve psychologically to be able to tap into it. And that time is now. So just, you know, do one thing every day. Do the Awakening the Immortals. Go to the shop. It's cheap. Buy the Awakening the Immortals and do that every day. Trust me. You won't be saying for very long that you don't feel like you have a lot of energy or that you can do this. You won't be saying that long. All right? JS, if you have a question, it's helpful if you write the word question. If you look up, you see Jedi Black Knight, he wrote the word question in all caps. It gets my attention in case there's a lot of people. When a lot of people start showing up, I'm going to have to just start looking for people who are writing the word question. You say, what do you use to make your AI art? Not a very spiritual question, but it's an AI photo generator at perchance.org, perchance.org. What else? Yeah, thanks, Jay. Jay's. Yeah, I'm going to hold you to your promise. Going to get some of the content from the shop. All right. So very good. All right, guys. So that's it. I guess we're all done. There's no more questions. Yeah, I'm going to keep doing these as often as I can. I had to take the day off yesterday because when I do these, I'm just loopy and sometimes I just need a little bit of a break because it's a lot. And every time I do them, you know, when I do this, all of the light beings are, you know, it's like a party for them, and they show up for, you know, days. They're just so happy and they just want to say thank you and all that. So sometimes I just need a little time to myself. All right, that's it. Okay, we're done, my friends. Thank you for showing up. Please remember, you are the most powerful being that has ever existed. You are the most important being that has ever existed. This universe cannot exist without you. If you didn't exist, the universe would disappear. Please know that you are loved and valued beyond your wildest dreams by all other conscious beings in the universe. They look at you and they bow before the God within you. And please know that you are so beautiful and so amazing and so lovable, and there's literally nothing that you can't do or be. You just got to give yourself permission and love yourself. Know that I love you, and all of the beings in the universe, including the most powerful deities that exist, love you and bow before you and are appreciative of you allowing us all to be in your world and existing. Having said all of that, my friends, if Solar Flash doesn't come for you, if you don't get beamed up to the Starship Enterprise, and if you don't shift yourself out of this third dimensional experience into a higher dimension, if none of those things happen, and if it doesn't happen to me either, I will see you all very soon. Please take extremely good care of yourselves. Thank you very much.